Hey Kim, it's Rob. I'm trying an experiment where I'm going to read your paper as I go through it. I'm going to record my audio notes, so it's going to be more like me being there with you, okay? So I don't know how this is supposed to sound smooth, so it's probably going to take a few minutes. So here we go. I'm reading this right here. I popped your page out of, or I copied your text off your page because it was a little hard to read. Personally relevant instruction is essentially what a learner deems important for themselves. I will consider material important to me if I can easily visualize myself implementing it in the future, or if it is particularly interesting or entertaining. The concepts I've learned in my educational courses will evidently be useful in my future classroom. Therefore, I consider them relevant. For example, in contrast, having class discussions about the poetic genius of William Shakespeare is relevant to me, but only because I'm enthralled by the topic. It's cool. All right, others, I wonder if Chapter 1 will teach me how to recognize my students' personal interests and disinterests, as well as how to motivate them to absorb the content they are less than thrilled about learning. Okay, this is what I think. I think some of the sentences are a little wordy. Personally relevant instruction. How about it? It seems to me personally relevant instruction is what a learner deems important for themselves. You write like you talk, which is great, because that indicates to me, as far as authentic assessment, that you are really thinking about the question, and you aren't just cranking out some words just to put them on the page and take up space. I will consider material important to me if I can easily visualize myself implementing it in the future. I think if you end the sentence there, that would be better. And say, I can also visualize myself using it if it's interesting or entertaining. The concepts I've learned in my education courses will, you can say, if you're not sure, which I understand, you can say, I believe, or say, I hope. It sounds like I hope the concepts I've learned in my education course will be useful in my future classroom. So, I guess I know what you mean to say. It's not coming across that way. Okay, we're moving on to the double. The case study in William Brazos and Michelle Simpson's book, Content Literacy for Today's Adolescents, was about a business teacher named Marta who was trying to devise a way to relate classroom topics to her students' personal interests and hobbies. Marta observed that the majority of her students were particularly interested in piano music, and as a result, she began asking her students to bring in their favorite CDs. Okay, let's make that sentence a little shorter. She agreed to play them in class as the students wrote. Marta went even further to develop an assignment in which she instructed the students to pair up so that one student, I think this is another case if we made the sentence shorter, it would sound a little bit better. Okay. Together, the students crafted business contracts and even signed them and shook hands in order to imitate. Don't put that simulate, right? Let's use that word. A real world. I'm not sure, but I think that's hyphenated. Let's check that out. Contract. And let's take out the word agreement because I think that sounds a little redundant there. The case study for Brazos' book and the first chapter of SciOp each touch on the subject of everyday literacy. I wonder if this should be a new paragraph. It feels like it. On the subject of everyday literacy. Marta's class appeared to be overwhelmingly of Hispanic descent, and she was able to appeal to their culture by allowing them to listen to Tejano music. That's a great sentence. SIOP states startling statistics about demographic distribution, and it's obvious that the amount of immigrant children is no longer a minor amount. Okay, let's make that, it's becoming more significant. You see, or the population is growing. Distribution. The startling statistics about the distribution. How about demographics? And I think this sentence might stand on its own. 35% of California, 35% of California houses, immigrant children. That's 1/3 of the population. 35% of California households. Uh, 35% of California households. I don't know how you start that sentence. Let's go ahead and come back to that. Luckily, in Marta's class, it appeared that her students were relatively proficient in English. Perhaps because they were business students. That's okay. Although SIOP details the devastating facts that 89% of Hispanic students read below grade level. Okay, so we're going to just pop that up. This is not bad for that. I think what I'm going to recommend mostly for this baseball answer, I think we're going to, if we did something like this, we take this answer and we put it in a table. And I think maybe something like this. So let's just do the single and the double. And this is what I'm going to recommend you do. We'll get it from the webpage, all right? And I can hear myself, and this sounds harsh, but I want this to be really great. Okay, insert table, and let's just take a table like this, and we'll put your paper on one side, okay? And then we'll pop another paper on the other side, and then you can make this more direct comparison.
Please excuse this interruption. I had announced this morning, but I wanted to do so before these students